Hello everyone, it's Maria Kronk here, and today thought I would include you in on me testing a keto flour blend. Now I've made a lot of blends with gluten-free baking, but I haven't been doing that so much recently because I've been on a low-carb meal plan, and the gluten-free is definitely not low-carb. It was a whole nother world learning how to work with gluten-free flours. But now I'm in another realm of the low-carb keto realm, and so I'm trying to find an all-purpose type of flour blend. I'm trying to find ways to create that light, fluffy, like cake and breads and things like that that are closest to the real thing. I found a recipe from Victoria's Kitchen, and I modified this a bit. This recipe is her blend, and I am switching some things out. Will it work? I don't know. Is it going to make great cookies and breads? I don't know. I like Victoria's Kitchen's flour blend. It's very versatile, but I just wanted, there's so much flavor in wheat when you're working with all-purpose flour, and I'm trying to bring in some more flavor. It just was a little bit bland. It didn't have that flavor that when I made bread. So I was looking for a recipe that I could create to bring in more flavor. Now I know with America's Test Kitchen, and I can't believe it's gluten-free, they actually add in a milk powder, and that they say that gives the recipe more flavor. Now if you don't do dairy, there is a coconut milk powder as well. Also, another thing that I'm going to do is she uses almond flour in hers. So I recently discovered this from Keto Twins, but this is Lupin flour. They were making their chaffles with this Lupin flour. So she uses almond flour. I'm gonna switch the almond flour for this Lupin flour. Almond flour, if you look at the nutrition panel on the back, it's for 1/4 of a cup, you have 170 calories. 1/4 of a cup, it's 100 calories, so it's definitely lower in calories. So we're talking 1 gram for 1/4 of a cup. So definitely the carbs are a little less. We got half the carbs in this one. This is basically what Lupin flour is. It is a sweet lupin bean. So it's actually in the same family as peanuts and soybeans. So if you can't tolerate peanuts or soybeans, I would just stick with Victoria Kitchen's keto flour mix. So this is double the protein. This it sounds like a really healthy flour. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do half the recipe because I don't wanna waste these ingredients if this blend is gonna turn out awful. So I'm gonna do half the recipe, but this is what I'm switching. I'm using Lupin flour. It's gonna bring the calories down a bit. It's gonna bring the carbs down a bit. And now she uses white egg protein powder. Some people might switch that with a whey protein powder because it's like half the cost. This egg white protein powder is like double the price of the protein powder. You're using about 1/2 cup to 3 cups of the flour, so you're not using a huge amount of it, but it is really pricey. I do think that this makes it lighter than the protein powder, than the whey protein powder that some people will switch because they're trying to get the cost down a little bit. It still makes a good blend, but this creates a lighter crumb. So I think this is better than the protein powder. And also another thing that Victoria Kitchen uses is the oat fiber. It's great for low carb. It's not to be mistaken with oat flour. There's a big difference. It's made by grinding the leftover hulls that have been separated from the oat roats. So we're going to use this because this creates a light texture as well, or it's not heavy like almond flour is. Okay, and then we add a little bit of xanthan gum in ours. This is kind of like a glue. So we don't have the gluten to hold things together. So when we're doing gluten-free baking, we want something to compensate that, and Xanthan gum is great. Now in my gluten-free baking, I have replaced xanthan gum many times with psyllium husk. This also is like a glue. It's a type of fiber, but I can't guarantee what this blend would be like if you swap out the xanthan gum for psyllium husk. Some people don't tolerate this very well. It can be difficult to digest, like beans is for some people, so this may not work for some people. So you might want to try out this. I can't make any guarantees with this particular blend though. So in Victoria Kitchen also uses baking powder. I found that the baking powder, I like to use fresh because it clumps up, and there's nothing worse if it doesn't spread throughout the mix. There's nothing worse than taking a bite of a muffin and having a little chunk of baking soda that's kind of lumped together because of the moisture. I just include it in the recipes. I do not like to add it to the mix, so I skip that out. So let's get started here. You can try this. Tell me if you do try this and you can't do xanthan gum. Let me know what you think. I use the powder.